Mr. Kirk,
Yeah.
are you allowing people to present on Tuesday or no? Or 10 points left?
We're supposed to be done on Tuesday. I mean, today. We'll see what our situation is at the end of the day.
Hello. Have you ever seen anyone wearing a t-shirt with this picture on it? This picture actually has a little story behind it, which involves the Cambodian genocide. As you can see, it is an underage soldier recruited by the Khmer Rouge. This shows the dramatics of that horrendous time. And yeah, it's an obey shirt. Today, I would like to introduce you to the events that led to the Cambodian genocide. If you know where Cambodia is, it is located in Southeast Asia, next to Vietnam and Laos. As you can see, it's in purple. How did the genocide start? Cambodia was once a monarchy with Prince Norodom Sihanouk on the throne. To summarize this time, Cambodia was split into three groups. The monarchy, which is the prince, the pro-West, which is backed by the U.S., and the Khmer Rouge, which is the Cambodian communists. The prince helped the Vietnamese communists by letting them set up bases in Cambodia. During this time, Vietnam was at war with the U.S., and a lot of people didn't like this. The pro-West was more of a democracy, and they were against this, but they had no power nor the help from the U.S. to prevent this. The Khmer Rouge at this time was both against the prince and the pro-West, but were little numbers, so they were pretty much weak. The events that turned the tables. The U.S. accidentally started bombing Cambodia, killing many innocent people. These bombs were meant for the Vietnamese communists. With this, the Khmer Rouge gained support of enough people to be in power. The people thought that the pro-West and the Khmer Rouge the pro-West wasn't doing enough, so they ended up joining the bad side. Some of the people thought the prince was part of the Khmer Rouge too, so even more people joined. He was actually in exile. Eventually, with guerrilla tactics, the Khmer Rouge was able to take over Cambodia, making it a communist country. Everyone probably knows about Hitler, but do you know who this man is? He is the Cambodian version of Hitler to me. The leader of the Khmer Rouge is a man named Pol Pot. He was the one who thought of the ideologies of the Khmer Rouge. They wanted to rebuild the economy by forcing people into an agricultural force. They did not want a social class at all, so everyone was pretty much even. Everyone did the same thing, which was just like farm and stuff. So everyone was forced to work being watched by Khmer Rouge. So they were prisoners. People would work 15 hour days and had to go through re-education programs that taught them that the Khmer Rouge was right and they must obey them, just like Big Brother. With 15 hours of work, they were sometimes given only one meal a day. The Khmer Rouge would even kill their labor force in large numbers by making them dig huge holes, and they would either be shot or buried alive. The ideas of the Khmer Rouge are fairly simple. Kill anyone who is influenced by foreign countries or is educated. When I say influenced by foreign countries, I mean influenced by religion, language, political views, ethnicity, or education. These people would be taken away and interrogated, usually tortured. The guards who tortured these people were taught how to torture while keeping the prisoners alive. Torture techniques. Their torture is pretty gross to think about. Some of their techniques would include draining the blood until the patient dies, electric whips, some were forced to eat their own feces, needles shoved underneath the nail, electric shocks, and there was more to torture these people, but I can't find them. They used battery-powered electric shocks, searing hot metals, knives, needles, fire, water, ropes, and more. Try not using your imagination. Sad to say, but they even killed babies. Rock Khan, a prison guard at the time, witnessed a baby thrown off the roof. He was later told to bury that child. He admitted during the trial against the person in charge of the prison testimony. Why did they torture these people? They wanted to get confessions that they were against the revolution, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have a choice but to confess. There are actually websites that show pictures of torture techniques, and You could just search around. Only if you're interested and you have a strong stomach. One of the most famous prisons is known as S-21. This is where people are tortured, and here are the 10 rules that people should know when they come to this prison. The most interesting one is number 6. You can read real quick. While getting lashes or electrification, you must not cry at all. This is an English translation of the original rules. Back to the map. Remember how the U.S. was at war against Communist Vietnam? Well, Vietnam is the reason why most prisoners were able to escape. They invaded Cambodia, taking over the government, and during the invasion, the prisoners used this chance to escape. Most traveled to Thailand, which is right here. Most traveled to Thailand. The problem is that it is a pretty far walk. This journey was to go through the environment, which includes forests, fields, and mountains. Individual situations vary. Not only did they have to face nature, but they had to avoid landmines. Landmines were left in the fields unused and ready to go. I did a personal interview with a survivor who walked through Cambodia to Thailand, my mom. She told me that on the way there, she saw dead bodies everywhere. She didn't really go into detail, but I could understand, so I didn't really force her. In conclusion, the Cambodian people of that time had a troubled life. They went through starvation, torture, disease, and more. At the end result, most of them were able to save the treacherous time by traveling to Thailand. From there, they were able to migrate to the U.S. and have the opportunity to be happy. If you're interested more about the Cambodian genocide, they actually have a movie called The Killing Field, where it shows more important details and dramatic events. And Akintam, which that means thanks a lot.
So Stephanie, what did you think?
It's a good topic because you were able to relate to it personally, especially when you say your mom went through that at the end. You needed to look up more, you're kind of reading a lot. The one thing I did miss, your thesis was that you were going to talk about what led to it, but you kind of skipped over that. You just say, oh, they took over the whole country. And then it's cool that you talked about the whole genocide, because that's a really good topic, but just they didn't really match up together.
All right. The image that you start with is a good dramatic way of getting our attention, and you transition to the topic pretty clearly. We know what the topic is. Your goal, I don't think, is as clear as it needs to be. It sounds like it's going to be a review of that history or that period of time and the events that led up to the revolution and the outcome there. I felt a little bit like I was hanging because I want to know, is it still that way? You don't follow through what happened after the events of that particular time period. You mentioned, for instance, that later on people were questioned in regard to, I think, a trial or something about this. So was there like some human rights case that went on about this? It sounds like a lot of that's in the past, and I don't know for sure what the resolution is based on the speech that you gave. There's not really a layout of what the structure is going to be at the beginning. It's pretty easy to follow during the speech because it's mostly chronological in nature, so that part's not hard, but it's chronological from the time of the war to the time of Pol Pot, and then after that we don't really get much about what's going on there. Some of the descriptions are a little simplistic. I didn't hear any source citations being referred to except for the personal interview that you conducted, and of course that adds interest to the speech because you've got firsthand experience, and it's somebody that you know who's went through that horror and knows firsthand some of the stuff that went on. The visuals, let me tell you, nobody appreciates more than I the fact that you were discreet on